Welcome to Kenny Quest First Ride, where I test ride motorcycles I've never ridden before, in the hopes that I find the perfect motorcycle for me. This time I'm riding the Indian Springfield Darkhorse. What do you think, guys? Indian Springfield Darkhorse. Doesn't have a lot of weight to it. Weight's low, center of mass, so makes everything kind of easy. 6 foot tall, 32-inch inseam, and I'm flat-footed. As you can see, we got floorboards here, kickstand, a little bit of a reach. All right, so I love this instrument cluster right off the bat. You have this analog gauge and it's angled right at you, which is really cool. And then you have a separate fuel gauge. There's also remaining, let's see, I got range 190 miles left. So, and then we have our trickle charge adapter for your battery care. This is your gas fuel cap. This is fake, but unlike Softail Harley Heritages of the past, it just twists and twists and twists. They figured that out, that people were just pulling them off with a little bit of force. So that's pretty cool. Powered by the Thunderstroke 116 engine, 128 foot-pounds of torque. So Darkhorse means it's blacked out, murdered out style. All right, let's start this baby up. Yeah, it's got a nice little sound. Okay, really smooth, a lot smoother than the Sport Chief. And it's got that positive clank. Embrace the clank shift. I like that. Seat, it's got this little cup. It's different than the Sport Chief. It's a little bit more wider. Feels a little bit more plush. This is positioned price-wise. As you can see, it's $23,900 and $24,499, and it's priced very similar to Harley's Road King Special. Now, it doesn't have like a glossy finish. It's anodized metal, front and seal, but you got your attachment points, it looks like, for adding a windscreen on. But I like this style of bike. My Heritage that I ride is like that, where you can just take off the windshield, get that air, knees in the breeze, air in the face, and then if you're gonna crunch some miles, go out of town on a trip, throw the windscreen on, you get less fatigued out there on the road. But I like the responsiveness to that, and the sound of that exhaust from stock is again, I said this on my Sport Chief review, but the stock exhaust note that you're getting from Indian out of the box sounds a lot better than Harley. The RPM in which you engage with the engine from a stop is a little bit more chill than the Sport Chief, and I'm finding it very easy, without any familiarity with this motorcycle, just to not stall. And I'm notorious for stalling on the first mile or two, the first couple stoplights on any motorcycle, because I'm just not familiar with how it responds, how much I need to rev it. Yeah, that's nice. I like that confirmed click into the gear. Reaching the bars, not a problem. They're swept back a little bit, so, and I'm sure they're adjustable underneath in this seal. There's 2 little hex screws there that you probably could take off and push them up, bring them back. But the way they got it from stock, I got a slight elbow bend, and very comfortable. Very nimble. I like this. And very responsive and very, very smooth. You're sitting lower on this product on the Springfield than on the Sport Chief, and thus I assume the Chief as well. And I like that low slung lead sled feel, you know, with the floorboards. You can kind of squat and spread your legs a little bit, get all the air in all the right places. Downshift, oh, very smooth, very smooth. Yeah, beautiful exhaust note. I keep saying it. It's like I'm not expecting that from a stock bike. But yeah, the roll-on from stop is much smoother on this product than the Sport Chief. Turns very easy, and I can do tight turns, which I like. So that suspension is dialed in nicely. So from what I understand from the gentleman at the Indian booth, this has a monoshock beneath, so it's kind of set up. I said it's comparing to the Road King. The Road King has 2 shocks in the rear. He said this one has a monoshock, and the frame is aluminum and not steel tubular like the Sport Chief. So it's a longer bike, the Springfield. Oh, it's so easy to ride. Shifts are good. Oh, it's great. It doesn't have that hooligan feel that the Sport Chief has. This definitely has a chill vibe, very much like my Softail Heritage. Just cruise, and I like that. Very nimble. Yeah, I feel that if someone pulled out in front of me, I can easily maneuver. Not that I want to test that theory. And the analog gauge, it goes well with the design of the bike. It gives that little nostalgic feel, but it doesn't send it over the top like skirted fenders and skirted wheels and tassels and all that other stuff that I've seen some of the heritage looking bikes from Indian have included. I'm not into that. That harkens back to, you know, a 1950s or 40s look, and it's just not something I grew up seeing. And I think a lot of Gen Xers probably agree with me. That's something for the generation before us, and that's usually who I see riding those bikes. But something like this gives you a little bit of that analog feel, and that's okay. But I bet you if we throw in some apes on this, you get a little bit more badass feel points. Give it a little bit of the beans. Yeah. She's got a beat and I can dance too. It scoots. Yeah, you don't have to be embarrassed about power, even in the standard mode. But we're gonna switch it up into sport mode soon. See what that's all about. Let's see if we can get into sporty mode. Tour, sport. All right, we're in it. Okay. Not as abrupt as the Sport Chief. Yeah, it feels like the engine's a little detuned from the Sport Chief, or the extra weight. I would just ride in sport mode all the time, unless there's a fuel economy advantage to go into tour mode when you're on the highway. Oh, that suspension's plush. I did not feel the bump. I braced for it, nothing happened. So that's nice. Whereas the Sport Chief makes you feel like a hooligan, this bike just makes you feel like an adult on the motorcycle, and you don't have a care to the world. Just enjoy the ride, and know that if you got a hairy situation coming, you got good brakes and a big enough engine to get out of trouble. Look at this turn, it's beautiful. Give it the beans. Oh yeah. Fourth gear, baby. That's a tall gear too. Probably set up where fifth's an overdrive gear and so is sixth, because you can go pretty fast and get up there in fourth gear, 70 miles per hour, no problem. Yeah, coming to a stop. Very easy. So we find neutral real quick. There's neutral. All right. Grips, I like them. They're thicker than some of the other motorcycles you get from other manufacturers stock, and my hands fit around them very nicely. No fatigue whatsoever. Wind buffeting wise, I'm getting a little bit on my upper chest under my chin, very slight. But if I have my visor up, it just goes in my helmet and blows all the way around. So visor down, just I can hear a little bit. It's not as noisy as the Sport Chief was, and I can feel the air going underneath my arms. But that's the ride that you're looking for on this, is feel the wind. Fourth gear, 70. Nice. Yeah, this thing hauls the mail very easily. And I feel all the power. And if I just roll the throttle on smoothly, I don't feel any twitchiness. But yeah, very pleasant ride. Very impressed. Yeah, I really like how this engine's tuned, especially going around a corner. I don't have to massage the brake. I can get a really good feel with the throttle and just manage my tempo into the turn. I like that. And, you know, right now when it's raining, it's that part where the oil's on the road and the water kind of mixture makes things a little bit slippery. But I feel pretty confident on this motorcycle. But one thing I'm surprised about is the lack of difference between the street mode and the sport mode. Because sport, like, I'm just chilling, cruising, casually using the throttle to adjust, you know, and it's not twitchy. I like that. Nice. But that's cool. That's a manufacturer giving you, you know, what normally we would pay extra for just to get that sound. I think Harley has some kind of verbal agreement with third-party manufacturers to, or even their own Screaming Eagle parts department, so much banked on accessories that they need to sell you to get certain performance levels. And it's nice that Indian gives you a lot out of the box. Alright, approaching our spot where we can pull over and take a look at the bike. Hopefully the rain will hold off. There she is, Indian Springfield Darkhorse. It's got the Indian guy right on the front fender, which is kind of pretty cool. It's not over the top nostalgic, just enough. But that front nacelle looks pretty tough. I like that little point right there. Very, very cool. Let's see if the bag's open without anything. Oh yeah. So you got your key fob, and this is for your saddlebag remote lock and unlock. That's pretty cool. Let's try it. Lock. Yep. See the click? Unlock. And then, oop. You gotta press and hold. Okay. Pretty cool. That is a cool feature. Because I'll tell you what, I got my keys on my belt for my saddlebag, and I'm constantly worried about dropping them, losing them, and I've dropped them on the ground. Go, oh shoot, where's my key? And they're like laying on the ground somewhere. And that's awesome. You can tell they put some thought into that. You also get the saddlebag release buttons right here, which is pretty cool. That Thunderstroke engine, it's beautiful. I like how they have some plastic pieces and things like that kind of conceal. It looks like a real good finished bike. Little flare tip on the front fender. The exhaust, the way it just comes through, that's pretty awesome. And it's a dual exhaust system, so, and on a bagger, I'm a big fan of the dual exhaust look. And it has just a slight concave, the bags are even, and they give you the fillers, these parts right here. Where in the past on Harley products, that would be open and it would be nothing there. Obviously 2-up ready. You got your sissy bar backrest, foot pegs. Looks pretty dang sweet. This is a little handle that the person can grab onto. But that's for bust to nuts riding. If you got a woman, she's going to reach around your waist and hold on. Those rims look tough too. These cast rims. I like it. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You got the stamped metal right here. Supposedly this is all aluminum, they said. But yeah, for the same amount of money for a Road King, you can get this. And the cable management underneath here for your ABS and brakes, not bad. Steel braided cables. You got all LED lights. You got your LED headlight, LED indicators on the front, LED on the back. So who would I say this motorcycle is good for? Well, I got 2 years of riding experience. It's good for me. Women, men alike. I mean, the weight's low down, so it's very manageable. And for those that like having the wind, and then when you don't want the wind as much, you stick the fairing on there. So, but a very approachable bike for, I think, anything beyond just the entry level. It wouldn't be your first bike, for sure. It'd be too much, too soon for you, I think. But after that, throttle management, yeah, it's a good time. So final thoughts. I'm very impressed. Harley guy rides Indian today, and was not expecting that. Yeah, where Harley would have some gloss and some paint, India does not. But mechanically, very sound, very responsive, and definitely worth the asking price in comparison to what Harley's asking for their products. Would I buy this? Yeah, I think I would. My mindset's been on sport cruisers, but I see this as an upgrade to my Softail heritage. And if I'm doing a lot of regional trips, weekend trips, which I do, this bike actually makes on paper more sense for me than the Sport Chief and the Buell Super Cruiser. It's just those have a badass factor, and this has a slight badass factor, not a large badass factor. It's a different badass factor, I guess. If you give me some apes, then I think the badass factor kicks in a little bit more. Give it a little bit more of an exhaust, yeah. But it's just a different badass factor, right? You got featherweight, middleweight, heavyweight boxers, and they each have their own level of badassness. And this is just different badass, I guess. Because I do feel slung and low, and I love that feeling. I guess I need the bars up here a little bit, and that would give me what I'm looking for on this one. But yeah, look at this. Just, oh, effortless. If I was doing this on my heritage, and of course, you know, it's a 27-year-old bike, but it would not be as smooth and as fluid as this. But if I missed something, down in the comments, let me know, guys. If you're an Indian person and a rider or enthusiast, you probably grimaced and shrieked the whole way through this. But you know, Indians doing their job. They're getting riders from other brands to test their products, and that's what I've done. Yeah, so that wraps it up, guys. Thanks for coming along with me on this one. If you haven't seen my Sport Chief first ride, go ahead and click on the box right here, and it'll take you right to it. We'll see you on the next one.